Everyone's had a minute to take a look at the agenda. Our first order of business is going to be a Form A at 279 Wood Street. To my recollection, the plan itself has been approved and signed off by most of the board members, and there was an error, or there was a correction that had to be made from the assessor's office for lot numbers. So I have that plan in front of me. I don't believe there's any need to make a motion unless you want to have a motion to sign the corrected plan. That's up to the board. Anybody have any?
I think we should make a motion to, if you're gonna sign if it's been changed.
Okay. You want to make that motion?
Sure. What's the plan?
The plan is for Edward Boutmain Trust, and it's at 279 Wood Street. Oh, that's his address.
And what was the change? Just the change in the number?
The change was in the lot numbers. The engineers decided to put their own numbers that wasn't consistent with the assessors. So they had them change it. We have lot 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, make a motion to endorse the Form A.
Do we have a second?
With the changes?
I'll second that.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous? All right. Let me just pass this around. Was there any fresh pens back there?
No, I didn't see anything.
All right. I'm going to sign this and then just pass it off to my right first. This is a Uniball pen. I'm hoping it's going to be sufficient. I wrote my name on the date line. Today's date, 11/5. That's all right, that's all the paper ones. I'll pass that pen with you.
Are you not signing the Mylar?
Yes, I just signed it, didn't I?
No.
If the pen doesn't work, then we'll have to come up with another plan.
me a couple of elastics.
One there. How's that?
Ready? What's this say? Oh, the numbers, it's about the numbers, so this is, it's meant to be on it. Do you have another elastic under that?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I just don't, oh, there's a lot. Little one's good. Do you want to put it in the box?
Please. Our next item on the agenda is Autumn Lane. This was precipitated by an email which is in the mail folder, and I think everybody's got a folder, regarding Merrill Associates. I believe what they did is someone from whoever owns that subdivision, the current owner, John Triani, must have contacted them regarding the release from the planning board. I am not familiar with it. I'm gonna maybe ask Gordon some questions on this one. I did read a series of emails, and it appeared that at some point that the engineering firm might have changed from Merrill to Armory. So, I don't know, Gordon, if you've been around the longest, if maybe you can fill us in. I think a lot of us know the background as far as
On Autumn Lane?
Autumn Lane. The background is that one of the lots was held, I believe it was held in lieu of a bond, and it's 14, 15 years old, and there was some issues with the road, at least based on what I read from the emails. And the town or the planning board hasn't received anything from the developer. All we received was this message from Merrill's.
Yeah, I don't think Amory was involved in that. I think
Were they
it's
the
been-
review?
I think it's been Merrill. Right along.
Okay. I did see, and I don't have it here, in the chain of emails, I saw something from Emery, but it's okay, if I'm incorrect.
Yeah, I believe so, because even Peter Palmieri makes a note that he's been the review
Okay.
engineer for this
Yeah,
one.
this is a long time, goes way back. The developer kind of abandoned the property for a while. The town went through a lot of stuff similar to what we went through with Pasture Lane. And then they finally completed 99% of it. And so now, in order for the town to accept it, they've got to finalize this stuff, and then we'll sign off on it.
Okay.
So
Is
right
there-
now, it looks like he's got, some adjustments to do, and maybe fixing some cracks and stuff like that. And then they still have to do their as-built. But they haven't contacted us. They
Well, it was
contacted the
April
engineer,
2019.
correctly?
I've got the file
Yeah.
here, this goes back,
It's the last time they looked at it. What is this?
It's probably been a couple of years since they were before us. I don't remember exactly the date.
I read the chain of emails from Attorney Mayo, and ones that were from Charlie's office. Completion cost estimate from 2005. So I guess we've got to determine what's the board's pleasure. Should we reach back out to Mr. Triani? Because I'm assuming Mr. Triani reached out to Merrill, but I don't want to assume that. So if it's the board's pleasure, I can have the secretary try to get in contact with Mr. Triani to see what he and his intentions are.
Or we could even skip a step and just go ahead and forward them a copy of this for review. He might as well have it if he's looking at fixing it.
What do you want to send for review?
The April 11, 2019 correspondence from Merrill.
I don't believe we've gotten a request from Triani, correct?
I didn't see.
No, it sounded like the request went to Merrill.
Yeah.
And Merrill advised them that
Needed to go through us.
they needed to go through us, but I'm okay with forwarding this information to the owner.
Just give me the date on that again.
April 11th, 2019.
Okay, 4/11/19. And that letter is to,
Attention,
To the planning board.
yeah, this was to the planning board.
so you want to forward that letter to,
Well, I mean, my thinking is that, that was April of 19. If they're looking to find out what needs to be done there now, the engineer probably needs to go out, it's been over a year, and take a look at that again. So my suggestion would be to reach out to Mr. Triani and say, if you're looking to do something, give us a notice of what your intentions are. And if you want a review from the review engineer, we'll send that out.
okay, as long as he pays for that.
Well, it's in the revolving
He had already paid
account.
for it.
Okay.
That's why I'm
In
saying we
looking,
should give him the information.
in looking at the departmental transfer, it doesn't appear, it's a bills for $481.
Usually, we don't track what's in the revolving account in the file there. So what we could do is have the secretary check and see what's in that. And if there needs to be more money before he goes out, then we'd need to get more money put in the revolving account.
Okay, all right, so I'll advise the secretary to reach out to Triana and see what his position is, and if he wants to continue, we will,
I mean, he can do it by, correspondence with us. He doesn't necessarily have to come in.
yes,
To
that's
give
fine.
us
Yeah,
his
I'm a yes,
intention.
okay.
I have a question.
Yep,
What did Attorney Mayo's email say?
oh,
I think Mayo's was back when we were having problems trying to get this thing resolved. It sat there for a long time with the covers raised up above the asphalt. We
Yeah.
had trouble plowing. I mean, it's a lot of the similar things that went on with pasture lane. They did clean all that up because they were trying to get rid of their last lot. And I'm not sure if we actually gave a release on that. Does it say in the file that we released
We
the
have
last
not.
lot?
no, I mean, all I read was a chain of emails, and Amy, you're more than welcome to review the file. I didn't see where there was any release. I just saw, some of the emails were
Because he
duplicated.
had completed like 99% of it. So at that point, I mean, if they wanted a release, they could put up a bond for what was left to have it released, but,
So,
but that's not what he's asking for, It's up to him what he wants.
so did,
Or he's just
Is-
looking for the town to accept it.
is there one more lot there that still hasn't been built on?
That's what I said, it's
Okay.
been so long, I'd have to review the file to take a look at it.
Okay. Amy, if you want to look at the emails, I do have a file.
Okay.
There's a series of them, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Well, I was just
because-
curious, I guess I'm gonna have to take a ride out there and kind of check out what's going on.
Yeah, but I doubt that any of the emails really respond to have anything to do with this part of it, if that's.
Yeah.
No,
You know what I mean?
emails.
Well, I didn't know if there was anything new.
Yeah. I don't-
Because they've got the top coat on, they've got the stuff, 99% of what was supposed to be done is done.
Okay.
Now he's kind of gone back and said, okay, well, you got some cracks, you got this, you got that.
Okay.
So it's like the touch-up stuff that they need to do before the town would accept the street.
Did you want to look at it, or it's available?
No, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we all should go out and take a look, and I will address this with Joanne and see if we can get some letters out to get some
Just get a
communication.
response back from him, is what he wants.
Should we set up a time where we can all go out and check it out and discuss it?
No. Well, I mean, you can if you want to. I don't really suggest that. I think we should go individually, otherwise you got to post a meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
in my schedule, I will get out there and take a look. I don't know when. But it's up to the rest of you guys. If you want to post a meeting and go out, that's up to you. I think it's important, though, that we get a punch list. If the top coat was on and it was incompleted, we should probably get a list of what needed to be done from the last inspection.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not at
Well, wouldn't
not at
ours-
a
what's
cost to the
this?
planning board. Like,
No.
you know what I mean?
That's what it is.
But we also don't require him to have one. He doesn't need an updated inspection. If he wants to go there and do the work, take that on himself and then get the inspection to find out, like, we shouldn't be enforcing a
Does
re-inspection.
he need Merrill to
There's no
go back out
advantage.
there and do the inspection again?
Well, it would have to be an as-built. No, just Gordon, excuse me. Are you referring to the April 11th, 2019 letter to the
Yes.
planning board?
Yeah,
Okay. Is that in everybody's file?
Yeah.
Yep.
so that's his last review of what was left.
Now, wouldn't he be very close to not being able to finish these things if he hasn't already done them due to the paving places closing?
No, the
soon?
top coat is on. there.
Okay.
Let's just look at the report. If the top coat's on, it might have been just a small punch list.
That's what this is,
Yeah.
Alan.
Was
Oh,
the top
soil
coat on and Merrill
contains, you know,
inspected it?
large pile of logs in the right
This
of
is the
way.
correspondence that I was saying that we should forward to the
Okay.
owner.
Okay. We'll forward this to Mr. Triani. And we'll have to get back to Mr. Palmieri.
Maybe we should add a little memo with the April 11th email that says, you know, keep in mind any damage that might have occurred that you might need to fix, you know, like kind of give them some sort of an idea that things might have changed since April 11th, 2019, just to kind of nudge them,
Did,
you know what I mean?
what might be more appropriate, that we're going to require an additional inspection?
Well, at the end, but just to kind of remind them that this punch list is a year and a half old, that, you know, there might be more things now to keep an eye out for it. You know what I mean?
Yep,
Yeah.
of course, that was,
You know, just kind of be nice.
just to let them know, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll convey that to the secretary. Next item on our agenda is Pasture Lane. I did get an email from one of the neighbors there tonight. Luckily, there's nothing to report. I didn't ask the developer to come in. I do know that there was some change in the lot that's left. Whoever wanted to buy it wanted to change some items or something, the location of the house or the septic system. They had some difficulty with that, but based on the information I received today, that lot did perk wherever they wanted it to perk. So I'm assuming that within the next 45 to 60 days, once that plan goes through the Board of Health, then hopefully we'll have some resolution, because I think that's what was holding everything up, was that particular lot. So I am going to leave it on the agenda just to keep it as a reminder. So hopefully we're making slow progress with that. I don't know if anybody else has heard anything or been out there.
I haven't heard any complaints, so.
Okay. Next item is the Country Club Estates, and what I'm kind of hoping, I think that hearing is on the
16.
16th of November. We're not going to be meeting before then. I know the package that they gave everyone, at least the one that I got at the Board of Health, was very extensive. What I'd like to do is have the members, if you don't want to review all the documents, at least review the comments that came back from the review engineer or the peer review. I did read those. Most of them are actually planning board items, just size of pipes and lengths of pipes and catch basins and all that other stuff. And then there was a drainage report, which I did not get a chance. But it's not required, but it might be helpful that the planning board assist the ZBA in trying to make sure that the project is going to work, if we've got any questions or concerns. And I think we're not meeting until the 19th. If they want to email all of that to the secretary, we'll put it all together. I do plan on attending that Zoom meeting, and then if anybody else plans on attending that Zoom meeting, please let us know and we'll post it.
I'll be
Okay?
there.
I plan on doing
Yeah, it might be safe just to post it.
Okay, so I'll have her post that meeting. And if there's any comments, it's very extensive. You really got to put some time in it. Post for 11/16 Zoom.
So is that going to be a Zoom meeting
Yep.
altogether? Or they're going to meet in the,
No, from what I understand, it's going to be a Zoom meeting. It's going to be from, I think it's either when the meeting starts at 7 or 7:30, it's going to end at 9. They're only going to go 2.5 hours. If there's any questions or comments, they're going to hold it within that 2.5 hours. If they don't get all the comments in, then they'll reschedule it for the next meeting.
so, but it's strictly a Zoom meeting?
Yes, to my knowledge, as of right now, unless something's changed, Charlie, that,
No, because we're assuming there's going to be more than 25 people who want to be there, including consultant, the staff, you all, members of the public, whoever else.
so it's strictly going to be Zoom.
Yes.
So what are they going to do as far as the plans, just put
Well,
them?
the plans, everything is up on the town's website right now.
Okay.
So if someone wants to, before the meeting, take a look at the plans, they're all there. And we expect during the meeting.
Be questions about those plans, then they'll be referred to that?
Put them up on the screen for
Yeah.
people to see.
Okay.
Did everybody get the package?
Yes.
12-inch package or so? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Some of that stuff
It's
is,
a book, if you want to.
Oh, you may not have
It's
read.
like this thick.
Oh, I mean the country club?
Yeah,
Did you get that?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so. I think they were passed out
Right
earlier.
beforehand? It was June,
yeah, I
right?
didn't, I didn't get one from the planning board. What I can do is have her reach out to the other members to see if they'll return them. It's quite extensive.
I would be willing to return mine.
The,
To help them out.
if you look at the drainage report, I think Amory did a fairly decent job at noting some of the deficiencies. Not the drainage report, but his peer review. I didn't read the drainage report, but I know that there's many problems with the drainage out there, and hopefully that'll be addressed. We'll see if we can get you a copy. If not, I can, I'll get you mine or Mark. So hopefully, if got any comments, if we can get them into the chair prior, would probably be helpful. And you're always welcome to, make any comments at the meeting, but if we've got any kind of recommendations, because that's all we're really gonna have, it'd be nice to have them in early, and we'll compile them all together.
Well, this will be the preliminary hearing anyhow, right? And then they're going to have another one after that.
I would think they're probably gonna have a few.
So probably after that, if we discuss it at our meeting, we could put together something to present to the.
Well, yeah, because we'll have probably more questions after than before.
The problem you have with that is, I think his format is going to be, they're gonna make their presentation, and then I believe before he opens it up to the public, he's gonna wanna look for board comments. That's the way,
Okay.
that's the way he indicated to me. So we probably should have our comments initially. Now, if something happens during the meeting, we need to make a change in that comment, then always come back to our next meeting and discuss it there. But I believe his intention is to try to get some recommendation from all the boards first, then the public.
I guess that makes sense from his,
Yeah, that's what he told me. Because I know we have comments from the
gives them
Board of
more
Health.
direction first. and-
Right. So, next item on the agenda is, I'd like to discuss with our members on whether or not we should be looking at some Zoom meetings. Part of that's based on the Thursday night meetings are creating a little bit of a problem with setup and dismantling for the schools. It's more convenient to move the night, but we have some members that can't move the night. So I'm trying to get a sense of what the board would like to do, if they would like to continue on meetings on a Zoom basis for the next 60 or 90 days. The COVID business is getting quite nasty. I don't know if anybody answered their phone around 5 or 6, but I got a phone call from the Department of Public Health, a robocall, about the necessity to wear masks and so forth and so on. I don't know if anybody else got it. Anybody answer their phone? Okay. I did get one
I was
around
on
5
the
o'clock. So,
I mean, my suggestion would be, why don't we just do the Zoom meetings and, rather than change the night.
Definitely rather than change, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and I mean, if we got to do it for a few meetings,
That's fine.
So, you know,
Yeah, I
so-
think we kind of was starting to get a good thing, like, actually it helped too, because Amy was able to like put the things up as people were talking about them, which like was wicked helpful. But I think that, yeah, I think like we'll get better.
That
at
sounds
it.
good to me.
Amy?
Doesn't hurt.
I'm all right with it.
Okay.
I think
good.
we're gonna be shut down.
I don't know, I don't think that we need to vote, I mean, unless you want to vote, but I don't have a problem with,
I'll make a motion to make our next meetings in the foreseeable future to be Zoom meetings instead of in person on Thursdays to help out with the schools and setting up and prepare for any shutdowns.
I'll second that.
okay, let's just do discussion. I just need to make sure. Charlie, you would be the host, or there would be, somebody would be the host?
Either me or Caesar, right now, we're the only people with the subscriptions for the town's cow.
Okay, so do you think that that's going to be an issue?
No, because
Okay.
either, now notice I'm here, so I'm either here online or here in person.
Okay. All right, I'll look for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, until further notice, we'll be holding the meetings by Zoom unless there's a different necessity. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to ask Joanne that if we get submittals in plans, I'm not one for reading, and I think Gordon and Rick are the same. We don't do subdivision plans or septic plans or any type of plan on an 8.5 by 11. All right? So any new plans that we get in, I'll ask her to make sure that we got enough copies and notify any board member that wants to pick up a plan to be able to pick up a plan to review themselves.
That sounds good.
Are we gonna have like the large copy emailed so like we can share them on the screen and such?
Yes, you can,
Okay.
that would be this, but our problem is that those that are in the business, this is pretty much useless.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
Because you
so
can't
yes.
read the numbers.
Yes, so she'll be sending out a complete package. She'll send out the PDFs on these, okay? And any member that wants an original, okay, she'll put that in a memo, set it up, she can leave them at the office for them to pick up. I mean, I'd rather have a full-size print to look at.
Yeah.
And the same thing for the folders.
Same thing with the folders.
We can have folders laid out at the town hall, we can swing by, pick them up before our Zoom meeting.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay, folders.
As long as we have a full-size plan that I can scroll around on the screen, because I know the importance of the scale and everything. That's what I do too.
Okay, I'll convey that to her. Complete Streets Program. I do see a folder here. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to see if they can come up with some ideas. There is a little memo in our mail. Let's just make sure we all review it. I think it's from
Charlie.
It's actually from Charlie, and I'm just gonna paraphrase. You know, we did get the money for the engineering portion, so we do need a list of the 15 projects. That needs to be prepared by April 1st. I'm not one to wait for the last minute. I think we should try to start within the next 30 or 60 days so that we can have some discussion, and maybe some site visits, people can look at different areas. I'm not sure what this is. This might be the whole program. Programmers have copies for all of this.
All right, well, this is definitely the stuff that we got last, yeah. I believe this is the same overview packet that we had last time.
The complete streets one.
Which
Yeah.
is in
It's
7.
like 6 pages.
Yeah, it tells, like, the
It's
prioritize.
just
All right, so we have all of
I
that.
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we're looking, we know that we're not gonna get 15, and we're not gonna be able to, they won't fund us 15, but if we get it prioritized, there is some other programs that have been available. The problem with the programs is they have to be shovel-ready, so when the money comes out, if you don't have a program that's, you've got everybody in line, the only thing you don't have is your funding, and you can do that within the the next 30 or 45 days, you can't get the money. So hopefully we can take some of these projects, and if they need certain engineering plans or whatever, get them ready so that if they don't come under the complete streets, they'll come through the other state program.
What's the name of the other state program?
It's a good question. It's in the Mass Municipal. Charlie, maybe you can help me with this. You read the Mass Municipal magazine?
Yeah,
There's another program with a shovel-ready projects. Some money come out first part of September.
there's the shared streets.
Shared Streets program.
Oh, yeah.
Shared Streets, yeah. But those are projects that have to be ready to go. You know, you've got all your permits, you've got your contractors lined up, and is it 600,000 that they gave out the last time, or 800,000 they gave out the last time?
For shared streets, it was something more like $10 million.
The whole, okay,
For the entire state, yeah. I mean, you could get at least, somewhere between 200,000 and 300,000 for a particular project, for the shared streets project.
I think it was 300K, if I remember correctly.
but it's, and I think I read it correctly, that these have to be shovel-ready projects. They gotta be projects that you can,
Yeah.
Submit that.
Because they wanted to, it's all tied to COVID, and so they wanted to get these projects done fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So they're looking at projects that, not conceptual. You've got the engineering ready, or, as an example, they're ready to go, yeah.
So again, it would be spending our town's money in hopes of getting money, sort of like gambling.
not really, it's not really a gamble. Shared streets, I don't know if we have to pay for it and they reimburse on shared streets.
Well, not for the engineering. So for instance, we did apply for shared streets for the sidewalks over on Ponset and over here on Plymouth. But all that, the worst case scenario, which we didn't get the money, is we do have the engineering plans so that if we have another chance at shared streets, for instance, they're going to do another round of funding, or the town wants to move ahead with its own sources, or we find another source, the engineering plans are ready to go.
It's kind of a good idea too, because then it keeps people from requesting frivolous things. If it's something important enough, then we should be investing in it anyway. So as far as getting the engineering done, that's kind of just out of the way. If it's something that doesn't really need to be done, then we shouldn't be investing into it anyway.
I agree.
But I think that we should probably just open it up to or make it, put it on the agenda for discussion for our next meeting, just to see if anyone from the public shows up
Yeah.
and has anything, because
To the best of my recollection, she was gonna provide us with a public,
Map.
no, it was a map, but it was a press release that we could send out, either through the town website or Facebook or whatever you want to do.
oh yeah, some information of.
Yes, I think, I'll ask Steve on that one. And I would think that part of these 15 projects that we need, we could include some of those, so that if one of these 15 projects were ready to go, and there weren't a complete streets program money available, then we could use shared streets program funds, correct?
Well, the shared streets program has limits as to what they're looking for. The shared streets program is not, for instance, in general, a road reconstruction type of program.
Correct.
In fact, a lot of it was temporary. If you saw communities close off streets in their business districts and put up signage and temporary trees and everything else, so that people could have, the restaurants could spread out into the middle of the streets, as an example. So shared streets is very limited in its intent and its funding. So the complete streets has a wider range of projects that you can apply for.
I think under the shared streets, you can do some walking trails and you can do some sidewalk improvements in your business area, like our area down at the corner. I mean, the sidewalks are in bad shape, and there's telephone poles and in the middle of the sidewalks. Now, I don't know if that'll come under it, but I think if we can include some of that in the 15 projects, then we might be able to get something accomplished.
The only concern that we should really think about is that we're spending Chapter 90 money on engineering to try and get a grant when we have roads that desperately need the Chapter 90 money, which is, you know, like Hayward Street is a mess, and they need the Chapter 90 money, and so if we're spending it on things that we don't necessarily completely need,
Okay.
when we need streets, you know?
I agree,
And
just because the
that's-
program's there,
that's-
if we don't need it, we shouldn't be using it.
Correct, but I'm going to disagree with you on Chapter 90 funds. I mean, the Chapter 90 funds are limited to our streets. I don't believe that any Chapter 90 funds are spent on this type of project.
At the last meeting, Steve Haywood told us that it was confirmed that we could use Chapter 90 money, and I don't think that we should use Chapter 90 money for engineering on possible things, because if we don't get the grant, then we just spent the money to save streets. I mean, we can leaf blow streets down the Avs. They like, the tile will turn, so the Chapter 90 money needs to go towards the streets.
I didn't hear that from Steve, and I thought that Chapter 90 funds were specific to our public ways. It could be wrong, you can verify that with Steve, but the grant that we just got for the engineering would cover the complete streets. I don't think any Chapter 90 funds are geared or used for supposed projects. There is probably some, I think we got the bridge project on Pine Street that, and Charlie can correct me if I'm wrong, they probably used some Chapter 90 funds for the engineering on that.
Or the town's own money also.
Town's own money, okay.
I don't know where Steve funded the engineering costs. It may have in fact been included in the state grant. It was about $500,000.
Right, that's right, yeah. Yeah, he did tell me that he got the state grant, so I think he took the money from the state grant to use for the engineering, but that grant was only $500,000, and the bids come in at 1.1 and 1.2 million.
It's in yes, because they're still doing the engineering work. It's a current estimate of the
Yeah.
engineering company.
Okay, so I know he's had a quandary about that, but to my knowledge, I don't think they're using Chapter 90 funds for, we wouldn't be using Chapter 90 funds for a wish list.
Well, he was saying it's for like accident areas. That's what it said the last minute.
Well,
Chapter 90.
that would be the complete streets.
Yeah.
Those aren't Chapter 90 funds. The complete streets
So
are.
just, that's what he mentioned at the last meeting.
Okay.
You know, engineering, accident areas and engineering can be done with Chapter 90 money.
Okay.
That's what he said. I don't know, that's what it said in the minutes.
So how much money came in for the
You're right.
complete streets?
38,000, is that the number?
For which,
Complete streets?
I'm missing something here.
The Complete Streets grant, was that $38,000 that they awarded us?
They didn't
Something in
know.
that order,
Yeah, it was in one of the emails.
And that's for engineering?
That's just for engineering costs.
Okay.
So, again, hopefully,
I didn't think that Complete Streets offered engineering costs, that we were supposed to pay out of pocket for the engineering costs. And then because of the project that we engineered, we'd have a chance at getting the grant. Wasn't that how it was?
I know the Board of Selectmen signed a grant agreement with the state for complete streets for that money. So we're getting funding from the state.
and that's a grant,
Yeah.
so that's good for us.
For the engineering?
Yes, that's the 38,000 that they just got.
I thought I remember her saying we had to pay for the all, and have to pay her all the engineering before they'll even
She did.
look at it. I mean, that's what I remember her saying.
Okay.
She did.
Well, we know we've got the 38,000.
Thank you.
Now we need to get some projects sort of lined up and get them ready.
So we're looking to list out 15 projects then?
Yeah, for some reason they were require that you submit
Yeah.
15, so they hope that you like prioritize like the top one or two,
Okay.
but for some reason your list has to include a minimum of 15.
So hopefully our next meeting, maybe somebody's got one or two or three ideas and put them all on paper, get them over to Steve and see where we can go for that.
And those can be sidewalks,
Yeah.
Street upgrades?
Their sidewalks, I think I don't want to get it mixed up with the other program. Complete Streets shy are some sidewalk areas, they're nature
Bike trails.
areas.
Complete streets, the concept is, when you're doing road reconstruction, you're considering all modes of travel along that street. Pedestrian, bicycle, cars. It's not going to, if you're doing a nature trail someplace, no. It's not a street.
Okay.
But what it is when you're doing a design for a street or reconstruction of a street, you're considering everybody who's using it and all the ways they're using it. That's the idea of the complete, not just one part of the populace and how they use it.
And I believe some of that information was in that material she passed out.
Yes, and there's a lot of information if you go to the website and read it.
Okay, take a look at that and see if we can come up with some ideas. So the nature trails are in the shared streets program.
Could be, obviously, there's a number of other, there's a trails grant, for instance, that has nothing to do with highway department at all.
Okay.
But, you know, there's other money for trails, the shared streets might work, but only if, you know, unless there's a project. I mean, that's again, you were talking about shovel ready. If we're doing shared streets and it's being done in the next few months, you're gonna have a set of engineering plans. If they do a second round of funding, they're not going to award a grant to a community that isn't ready to go. Because that's number one on their list, is the project is ready to go. So if someone's thinking, let's build a nature trail someplace in Halifax, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
start off with the concept. Where is it? How long is it? Where is it going? Where is it ending? Is there parking available? Is it connected to the sidewalk system, et cetera? Then someone has to actually design it, to do the engineering.
But that,
If we're looking for money to do what? We're looking for money to do the trail somehow, to, let's say, clear the brush, put in any bridges over streams, whatever else. And that's the money you're going for. But it all has to be engineered before we make the application.
Gordon, you had a question?
yeah, but that's outside of the complete streets. What we're really concerned with right now is complete streets, right?
Complete streets, correct.
So we're looking to put 15 projects together, itemize them as to what's the highest priority down to the lowest, and we need to put a dollar figure on those or not?
No, because you don't have the engineering. It's
Yep,
all
wait,
conceptual. So for instance,
Okay.
let's.
No, that's fine.
Pick Oak Street and Oak Street, where that, you have that dangerous
We need road stuff.
that probably would make the list. There probably is a need to redesign that intersection. You don't know how much money yourselves, how much that's going to cost.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just saying, we're not looking to put figures.
No,
We're just looking to put projects.
we're looking for projects and priorities.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, read it. It's nuts.
Any more questions, any more discussion on complete streets? Hopefully we can, the next couple of meetings.
Are we or are we not putting it on the agenda for
Next
discussion?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll stay on the agenda. This will stay right on.
So they looking for 15 projects, all engineered and ready to go, or just
No, that's.
No.
No, they're looking for the list.
just
The
concept?
concept.
Right, like I said, Oak Street and Home Street, the intersection, it's a bad intersection.
Right.
Might make it on the list. It's on the list because we need to do a redesign of the intersection, or do traffic signaling, or something
Right.
there to
Yeah.
reduce the number of accidents we have.
So that wouldn't be chapter 90 money to do that?
Or complete streets.
Oh, okay.
We'd have to use some money to engineer
Yeah,
it.
right.
And what Steve said was they have
So-
the allowance to use it.
For some strange reason, they're looking for 15 from all the communities. We get to prioritize those. The two that the highway surveyor has talked to me about is the Pine Street intersection, where they've had multiple accidents, and then the Oak Street and
Home Street.
Home Street intersection. I guess there's been multiple accidents there. But those, I don't know that you'd be looking, especially Pine Street, he's probably not going to be looking to reconfigure that complete intersection. That's probably going to be some sort of additional lighting, maybe some
Right, flashing light.
flashing
drop the
lights,
speed limit or something.
you know, like he did on Walnut Street, he's got a flashing red light at the stop sign, which from what I understand is reduce some of the accidents in that corner. So we'll get them prioritized and then sit down and figure out what do we need to do with that, how we're gonna accomplish, whether it be lighting, whether it be some additional lighting. I don't know that Home Street intersection is too dark.
Just a lousy line of sight.
Yeah, so, all I know is I don't think we want a roundabout, but these are the things we'll have to sit down and figure out once we get a priority list, just how he wants to handle it.
I urge everybody to read the implementation contracts and see what we sell ourselves out to as well.
All right, next item on our agenda, and we briefly discussed it, is the sidewalk entrance at O'Reilly's. I did take a picture. I don't know that there's much that we can really do with that. My concern, and I'm not going to bring the map up, I think everybody's looked at it, is when you're on Plymouth Street heading towards Dunkin' Donuts, where O'Reilly's entrances, they changed that sidewalk area. So now it's handicapped so that you drop down according to the code, then you have the yellow mats with the bubbles so that someone can, if they're blind, can tell. But what they did, and it shows it on the plan, is that instead of continuing the opening heading west towards Dunkin' Donuts, the opening goes out towards Route 106, which didn't make a lot of sense to me. I spoke with the project manager down there. I was doing some septic inspections. He agreed, and then I went and I did some research and looked at the review. It didn't come up in review, and even when you're looking at the plan, if you didn't pick that particular spot to look at, I don't think anybody would have known it. So I don't know what the board's intention was back then, and there's nothing we can do about it now, but, you know, maybe with the 40B coming up, I don't know if what they got for sidewalks coming out of there, we might want to take a peek at that. And I think everybody looked at that plan, and I don't know that anybody would disagree that the sidewalk should not be going into Route 106, it should be going straight.
Is that part poured now?
It's poured, yes, it is poured, and then they re-poured it, because when we went out there, I told them we're gonna have a big puddle. Of course, the next day it rained, and they had a big puddle. And they ripped it up. I was really surprised. I went yesterday for a final inspection, and they ripped it up and they raised the elevations so that you wouldn't get a ponding, so that the water would run from their grass area onto the sidewalk. But the entrance, the way that it is, or the exit, is still the same. And he questioned, you know, when I asked him about it, he says, I have no idea why, but he said he's seen other ones. Now, if there was a crosswalk there,
Yeah.
then I could really see that, but I mean, the direction it heads is towards Stop and Shop. It doesn't even head towards Halifax Gardens, not Halifax Market.
Is it a safety issue that we really should address? Like if somebody was in a wheelchair and they went and they ended up in 106, we're now mentioning it out loud at a meeting, and we should probably think to at least write them and urge them. And at least cover ourselves. Maybe if Mayo sent them a letter and said, listen, this came across, this is how it was put in, and we're letting you know that we urge you to change it so that we can protect ourselves from lawsuit and maybe push it towards them so that they will do it.
I'm gonna tell you that my opinion would be, and we can talk to Charlie, is that contract is done, the plan was approved. They could say to us, if you don't like it, you can fix it.
I'm just saying if we relay it.
We can put them on notice. I'm not sure who to put on notice. It's a whole chain
Maybe
of events
O'Reilly's.
with O'Reilly's, with the company, but
Well-
Charlie, would you agree that we're probably stuck with that situation?
I don't really think, you know, this is the board here.
Right.
You know, we should be discussing this. We don't have to reach outside the board for what's going on.
Well, her comment was whether or not whether we could write to them.
We can.
Okay.
We're the board. I mean, we see something, okay, it went by, we didn't pick it up at the board. Now we see what it is. We reach out to them and see if they'll change it. You know, I mean, there's
Well,
no
what-
harm in asking.
I think what we would have to do, though, is we would have to go back to our review to see, is that ADA compliant? Was it done that way
Did-
because
But
of ADA requirements?
did-
I don't
Like
know.
Gordon's saying, we're not enforcing anything, we're just proposing and
Okay.
asking. So we don't have to be prepared to enforce it, we don't have to,
Did Amory do the review? Then we'll give Amory a call and ask him why it goes out there.
Yeah, good idea.
I mean, that's, you know, he's supposed to be looking at the interests of the town. We rely on him to do that. That's why we send it out for review. So it's something we bring up to him, have him take a look at it, and see if it can be resolved.
Okay.
I mean, it's,
I'll get an email drafted and send it through the office. And I'll include a photograph if anybody wants to look at the photograph.
because the last thing we want is somebody coming down there with a wheelchair and ending up in 106. I mean, that's,
That was my concern initially. So ask Amy on sidewalk. So basically, we're going to ask them what, if anything, can be done.
yep. I mean, I'd pick up the phone tomorrow and call them. You know? I mean, it's something that needs to be looked at right away because they're still working there.
Yeah, if
They
it's
might saw cut it and fix it now.
Especially if O'Reilly's thought they might get sued about it.
Well, it's not
I don't
about-
have a
It's not
problem.
about the suit, Amy.
No, it's-
It's just about,
It's public safety.
it's the safety. I mean, the plan comes in.
Well, I
there.
agree with that.
We're not liable for what they put on the plan, but, you know, we're supposed to be looking out for the interests of the people of the town of Halifax.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say.
You know, so we just reach out to them and see what we can do to resolve it. I mean, if they came in and they wanted to make a change, we'd be willing to sit there and listen to them, right?
Right.
I don't have a problem. CC, do you mind drafting an email?
Yeah,
I can't do it tomorrow, so if you don't mind drafting an email tomorrow, just CC Joanne, she'll get it to us. She won't get reply only, and then we'll follow it up from there. I mean, that way it'll get started right away, because there's no way that I can get them an email out. Okay? Let me see.
Should we make a motion on that, or are we good?
I don't think you need it, but.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Just
It's
after.
just gonna write a letter. Okay, let's do the correspondence next. I'm assuming it's in the folder, I haven't gone through it. 10/19, we got an email to Barbara Gaynor, Amy Troop requesting, doing a public records request. That's here. The problem is that request was responded to today because her request went out to my town email address, which I did not have access to. So that email went out today with the documents. Anybody got any comments on that?
I'm still wondering where that set of notes came from.
That's okay. You put a public request in, I think that's been satisfied, so.
Well, I'm just putting it out there as the reason that the public records request occurred is because you read an unsigned letter out loud, and then,
Okay.
and I wanted to know where it came from, where it regarded the open meeting law violation from the August meeting. And that's why I wanted to know where the advice came from, on how you should handle the situation. That's why this is all happening, because if you remember correctly, when we did talk about this in October, I think it was the 1st or 15th, I forget which meeting, I did state that, I wanted to know who it was. And then 2 items later on our meeting minutes and agenda, you made it so that nobody could read an unsigned letter out loud. And you brought that up and put it there. So I'm just making a note out loud about that currently, because it was, again, very unfair to me, the woman on the board.
Okay, we'll note your comments. It was
Yep.
not an anonymous letter.
Who was it from then?
And your comments are duly noted.
Who was it
Anybody got
from
any-
if
any other
it's-
comments?
Who was it from then?
I think that's irrelevant.
Well,
It's not irrelevant, whereas you just made everything.
I would like to make a statement here.
Go ahead.
If there's a letter that gets read in, it's part of the minutes, and we all should have it.
There was no letter that was read in.
Well, and I misunderstand.
Well, no, Amy said that there was a letter that was read in that was an anonymous letter. I don't know where she got her information from.
You,
Okay.
you stated it at that meeting, out loud, and that it was none of my concern who it was from.
I think the matter of, as to who drafted it, whether I drafted it or I didn't draft it, is irrelevant. The comments were made in response to your open meeting complaint. If I choose to write items down so that my memory is correct, I have that ability.
You stated that it was in the
author of that,
mailbox.
whether it be me or Donald Trump, doesn't really matter.
You stated it was in a mailbox. I have no further things to say.
Okay. Anybody else? Next item on the agenda is, we did receive a proposal from Pat Brennan on 311, 313 Plymouth Street. Just so that the board's aware, I asked that there won't be a review on that particular project right away. If you remember, there were some issues with septic and so forth. When they made their original presentation, they resubmitted a plan a week or so ago to the Board of Health. That plan still needed some more work. I did spend half an hour on the phone today with their designer, and he's going to make all the adjustments that he needs to make to bring the plan into compliance with Title V. And the only reason this is taking place is he wants to use one plan for both projects. He wants to use a septic plan as a site plan, which, that's fine, I don't have a problem with that. But the septic plan should be correct and approved before it goes on to the site process, because if it needs to be changed, then it's got to go through the site process again. So there was a lot of issues on the plan he agreed with, and he's going to make the changes. So we'll hold off with sending it out to Pat Brennan, and I believe the Casa Grande or Boynton, Freeman Boynton, they don't have a problem with the number that Omri gave him to do the review. So I don't really expect that plan to be in for another couple of weeks. And then there was another issue which I asked him to address with building department. It was based on the size of the building. My opinion was that he needed a special permit, and I think he found out today. So we'll still be working on that plan, but he's got a few more things to get out of the way before he comes back to us. Next item on the agenda is, I listened to the Zoom meeting for Bud's Good, and I caught most of it. I didn't catch the first 10 minutes of it. And there was some discussion on septic system, and I believe there's some discussion on drainage.
Which project is this?
This is Bud's Good. I don't believe they've submitted,
They have not yet.
they have
Down
not
off of
submitted.
River Street?
Pardon me?
This is off of River Street?
Right, this is the River Street project. We, as far as the Board of Health, has not seen any plans. I don't believe the planning board's seen any plans. I believe they've been in front of the selectmen to get their approvals first. But the gentleman that did the presentation made some comments, and it's the only reason I got involved. The septic system's a half-mile away, and they're going to be using easements and so forth to get to it, which is something that the Board of Health is probably not going to allow. And then I think some of the questions were on the drainage. So the next day I sent China an email just to recap my conversations, and I just made some suggestions that possibly to their engineers, that because the soils aren't the best in the town, that they're going to have some issues with parking lot drainage and roof drainage, that potentially they use a cistern for the roof and they can use that to water, and then maybe use some pervious pavement to park their vehicles on, to sort of minimize how many retention or detention basins are going to be required. But we haven't seen any plans, so we'll just keep all that in mind. And then they'll have to deal with the Board of Health on the septic side of it. So,
Do we have a file made for Bud's Goods where we could start holding things like this so that when we do have something in front of us, it'll all be here?
I'm going to say no. I don't believe they've submitted, I know they haven't submitted anything to the Board of Health. I know that 6 or 7 months ago, that after some extensive percolation tests, that there was a spot, not sure where it is, I was just told it's half a mile away, that did perk.
I was just thinking
But
it
there-
might be really good for us to have a file for planning with this stuff in it so that we
There should be a
can,
folder that goes with the piece of property, even if it's,
yeah.
That's farmland, so I think we just need to keep it, and I think once they do the submittal, then this will jog the fact that, you know what?
all right, so now I'm really confused. So this is not the project on River Street that we've already approved a plan for?
No, it's
Well,
not.
I don't know. I mean, did you
Which-
approve Bud's Goods?
We've already, I mean, Bud's Goods, that's not like a name that sounds familiar, but like, the
Okay.
project probably wouldn't have been referred to as that.
This, to me, to my knowledge, is only one project for River Street, and that originally was a indoor, I believe, cultivation project. Could be
Yep.
wrong. And I think they wanted to make a change to go outdoor.
But this is not that.
This is that.
So there already is a folder.
Oh, that I don't know, because I don't,
Can I go?
Yeah, please.
You had 4 daughters. that
Oh,
wanted to do an outdoor cultivation site. Then you had, or I believe it was outdoor, but you had 4 daughters. They gave up more than a year ago. They never filed with you at all. They did a host community agreement with the board of selectmen. They never filed anything with the planning board. Now you have Bud's Goods at the same site now wanting to do outdoor, indoor, and indoor manufacturing of marijuana products. They've come to you so far conceptual. I believe it was like maybe a month and a half ago. It was upstairs, actually, up in the Great Hall. You were still meeting there. The engineer came and met with you about conceptual plan. There might be a file now with that conceptual plan.
Yes,
You
that
haven't
was.
done anything formal yet in terms of site plan or special permitting documents.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, let's stick this in the file so that we have these notes when we do see them again.
Agreed.
okay, I'll ask to place the email in, if she's got a file, place it in. She made a presentation, and she gave us a handout, if my memory is correct.
Yep, I have
Yeah, okay. Place in folder. Oh, actually, we'll have her start a folder or start a folder.
They should be able to come up with an address, so we can put the address on the folder.
I don't know of any address. Other than recently, all I knew it was on was River Street. I had no clue as to where it was. So, we'll either start a folder, especially if you only had the host agreement, and it sounds to me like 4 daughters.
It could all go
Did they
into
come to the planning
same,
board? 4 daughters come to the planning board?
it could all go in the same folder so that we
Okay,
kind
that's
of,
fine. Start folder for either 4 daughters or Bud's Goods. Okay, next item is an email from Alish Karati, and that somehow got to the planning board, but I think it was more for conservation looking to get a final inspection. I did let them know that the planning board was interested in looking at the project. I don't believe, and you folks have been here longer, can either agree or disagree. In our site plan process, is there a process where the board needs to sign off on it?
yes.
There is? Okay, so if there is, then they'll need to come back to us. The next item is from Peter Palmieri, which we discussed on Autumn Lane. Next item is going to be the public hearing notices from abutting towns. The agenda doesn't cover it, but I did notice that there was Hanson, there was
They were
Pembroke.
in the emails.
They were
correct?
in the thing. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about the decisions on the other towns?
I don't.
Okay. Let's move on. And then there was some notices that from the ZBA that we should either acknowledge. They were some, one was an in-law, one was a variance, lot line variance, I believe, on South Street. Did everybody read those?
Yeah, we had a couple of garages or something.
Garages or something? Any?
I haven't read all
I
of
haven't
those.
had either.
Okay. But basically what they did is they got a public hearing notice that says that they are going to have a hearing. I don't know if there's any reason that the planning board would want to either object. But the process is that if the planning board did have either a comment or an objection, it should be filed prior to the meeting.
Okay.
So if you want to take a look at them now, or do you want to look at them and just get back to them? They're fairly cut and dry variances.
One is 85 Hemlock looking for an in-law. And the other is
The South Street for,
Adga Realty for a special
Right.
permit to construct a horse barn located at 0 Walnut Street. Said property is owned by Adga Realty as shown on Assessors Map 98, Lot 1, title reference book, page. The applicant is seeking a special permit to construct an approximately 2,964 square foot barn, 78 by 38, including a second floor, according to plans on an existing parcel to stable horses for agricultural purposes, with a front yard setback of approximately 853 feet, side yard setbacks of 439 and 711 feet, and a rear yard setback of approximately 347 feet. This would be in violation of Section 167-12F4 in the agricultural residential district. It is greater than 884 square feet in accordance with the zoning bylaws of the town of Halifax. Area zoned residential. Petition 927.
anybody, any comment on that? They might, it sounds to me like they might have some sort of agricultural exemption, but I don't know if there's anything that impacts our board on this.
No comment.
Any comments? Okay, we'll do the bills, and then we'll go to the meeting minutes. We have a bill for WB Mason for office supplies. I didn't take a look at that, so.
Make a motion to pay a bill to WB Mason, invoice number 214352887 for office supplies in the amount of $41.99.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I know we do have some signature authorities in the event that we don't meet, so we still need, 3 people need to sign that?
Yes.
Okay. Want the pleasure of, who will be signing that?
Pen.
Under old business, we've already discussed the Country Club Estates 40B project, so we'll move on to the October 15th meeting minutes. Meeting minutes have been sent out. Does anybody have any questions or amendments? Let me just see.
Joanne actually sent you all a updated meeting minutes today with some additional comments.
Oh, I think I saw it like 1:30, so this is not those?
No.
No, this is October, we're talking about October 15th.
That's correct.
Okay.
But this
There was an update today?
Yes, yes,
There was an update today?
yes.
Yeah. That's what I say, so I don't, this paper copy doesn't reflect that.
That's correct, but we
What was,
could,
what was that? Obviously, I missed that email, but I got, I probably got a dozen today, but what was the problem with the October minutes?
There wasn't a problem. After the paragraph here on complete streets, I added.
Okay, hold on, where are we? You gotta tell me where you are.
On the complete streets.
Okay, the first 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay,
I put in that I inquired about the implementation agreements the town would be making and read them aloud. I put the implementation issues directly from the contract that I read out loud in the minutes. And then I also wrote in, Steve Haywood stated he was told that Chapter 90 money could be used for engineering projects. The engineering would need to be done in order to apply for the grants. The town of Halifax needs to pay for the design to apply for the grant and hopes to receive any grant money.
was
So
that on the tape and in our discussion?
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember Amy talking about that.
Okay,
I noticed that wasn't in the minutes on this.
okay.
Thank you.
I don't have a problem, other than the fact that this should have been out 3 days ago. Okay, I think we decided that the minutes should be read, so if there's any questions, they can be addressed prior. I did not see that, but I got a lot of emails today, and I thought I looked at all of them.
Well, I don't.
Did you see it? Did you-
Yeah, I saw it, but I wasn't at the meeting, but I mean, I did see it, yes. But saying we have to have it out 3 days in advance, I mean, that's really not realistic. I mean,
Yeah, if we want changes and they take more time, we get more time. That's just how it is.
All right, so if you've written down whatever you just said,
I sent it to
Yeah,
Joanne.
it's already
and
come
then
out.
The changes are done,
It's
they're
in
just
our
not reflected in the paper you have.
Yeah, it's not on the
I
paper.
didn't
it's in
see
the
that.
email.
So we're gonna hold, so let's go through all the minutes. Let's go through the rest of October 13. So Amy has a change for this, and I have not seen that. Okay?
I
Do
can
we
show
have
it
any
to you,
issues
but
with
you
it?
can't see it.
Yeah, tough to read.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we could go back to the same thing which you wanted to do last thing. There's 3 of us here that could easily just make a motion and do it with the changes. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I'm okay, if that's what you want to do. I see in here where it says Haywood's priority is accident areas and engineering may be done with Chapter 90 money. I didn't see the rest of what she did. So what's the board's pleasure? Do we want to hold them? Do you want to add them? Do you want to add them with the amendments? I did not see the amendments.
I would
I make a motion to approve the amended minutes for October 15th, 2020.
I'm looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Okay.
thank you.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. It's a little premature.
By what means?
We need to, is there anything else? We just approved all the minutes, so.
Yeah, it's because we've all already read them.
No, is there any other changes?
No.
No.
That's my only question.
Yep.
Because you got the Duxbury construction,
Yep.
and then you've got meeting date change, and then the other discussion items. There's nothing else. Okay, so we're going to be, let me just write this down, so she's got it on the tape.
It's the first thing I noticed other than this, you want on.
10, 15,
I try to care.
20,
That's all it is.
You have good points there.
Thank you. I have the September 3rd minutes.
hold
that I
on,
updated.
let's finish. Let me just finish this.
Yeah,
Meeting
you can
minutes
pass them down.
approved
I don't know. I think there's 7, so that we could have 2 signed.
with changes.
So,
I don't know why it's not here.
Because she didn't have time to print them up and get them into the folder.
Okay. Just hold on for 1 second.
We'll just have to sign them the next meeting.
yes.
Yep.
Just bear with me a second. I'm just reviewing some documents. I don't know if these got left.
I think we all still have that package from last week.
Okay, I'm
That's not
just,
fair.
For complete streets.
That's just starting up.
no, I'm just looking at my package, and it says from 10/15/20 meeting minutes, and part of it's Casa Grande's
Oh,
project.
it's
That's what I'm
probably mixed
saying.
in.
So we all still have that packet from the last meeting.
Okay, I'm just looking at it because I'm not sure why it's here. I don't want to oppose. So is
I
this-
assume you left it in. Usually that's what she does. You leave things in your envelope, she clips them, marks them, lets you know that that's why they're there, is because you left them there from last week. That's usually how it goes.
All right, so I'm not gonna look at these, just initial them. Yeah, okay, I got it in the system. too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of handy because she'll let you know, like,
Okay.
but
Amy, you just passed out something. Can you just tell me what
Yes,
this
these
is?
are the September 3rd minutes that I updated with the additions that, and changes that I had requested.
Okay, now, this is the one that there was a whole chain of emails today. What is different in this meeting minutes from the original one?
do you want the original? I can give you.
Well, I thought that she was gonna do it in red or something. You said to do something, highlight it in red.
I did as much as I possibly could, and I could tell you the changes, because I have the original right here.
Okay, let's start with, where are you with your first change?
I have in discussion Pine Street North to
Okay, hold on.
determine if
I
planning.
did see a bunch of emails, but I could not understand in those emails.
I didn't know that she sent me the words to change myself, so as soon as I saw that she did, I did my changes.
Okay, so. What did we change on Pine Street North? What did we change?
I added that the discussions were
What line,
rearranged.
please?
Pine Street North,
I know, yeah,
discussion,
but-
second page.
You want to start from the beginning?
The second page?
Yeah, it's on the second page, bottom under discussion.
Discussion, Pine Street North.
But I'm trying to figure out where she's starting at.
I added that the discussions were rearranged and that you got the map that night.
Where did you add that? At the bottom?
It's in bold.
It's in what?
It's in bold.
I don't have anything in bold. You am
Yeah,
I
so
missing
there's
something?
bold text, like, bold text.
Yeah, right here. Have you got the
Oh.
original
No, I
one?
don't have it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just gave you the-
Yeah, she's got it here. Okay, so all you added to this one, I rearranged discussions?
Nope, that was not the only one. You told me to start at the beginning, so I'm doing it.
Okay, so let's just start with this. What do you mean I rearranged discussions?
You did. You rearranged the discussions and said it out loud to put things in order to help out some people in the audience. The second thing that
Why
I
would
put
that be in the
in,
discussion of Pine Street North?
I don't know why you did it. I'm just.
No, I'm saying, why would that be in the Pine Street North?
Because that's what happened. Then I added, it says Andrew presents
No,
a
but,
plan
hold
that
on,
was.
Amy, hold on.
I'm just telling you what was here. You can review them if you want, and we can
No,
go.
what obviously, I
She's
made
saying,
that,
she's
I
saying
made
it
that
was
comment.
taken out of order, that's all.
Yeah.
The order of the agenda, it was taken out of the
Okay.
order of agenda.
So does it belong under the Pine Street North?
Yes,
Yeah.
because that's
Discussion.
when it was,
Okay.
that's when it was stated.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so then I added that, it says here, Andrews presents a plan that was sent by Troop via email, comma, the email was sent, so this is my addition, the email was sent to the secretary per the request of Attorney Day and forwarded to the planning board on 8/25/2020, and was also placed in each member's folder, so that's an addition.
Is that's not in bold?
Sorry, no.
Am I missing something?
That is not in bold.
Okay.
That is the first line. So when you asked her to specify, she said the bold, which was the first line, and now she's
Alright.
continuing on to literally the next line.
Thank you. Then, the access, we talked about that, so I added in that the only other access to Pine Street North is through
Where-
Snow Street.
Where are you, dear?
Oh, sorry, top of third page. And then there are a bunch of streets that have never been accepted per Andrews, and then Milius asks Andrews, does the corner lot exist? Andrews states that the corner lot does exist. Lots of discussion was happening between Milius and Andrews and Diaz.
Milligan and Andrews.
Sorry, my bad. I was reading the next line automatically.
Okay. Okay, that it?
I changed, sorry, I'm just looking and comparing. I changed what you said according to the video. It said, in here, in the original
You gotta
minutes,
tell me where you're at, because I have no, because
the
you,
next paragraph down, last sentence.
Okay,
It's on the last two lines.
just, can you, if you do this again, can you put it in bold?
Yes?
Okay. So where are we?
Um,
Line what?
It's the end of the second paragraph, last sentence.
Yeah.
Diaz doesn't see a planning board issue unless, and I changed it to, you cite a specific subdivision control law, because that's what was stated. It wasn't,
Woman, hold on. Maybe I'm running a little slow.
that's okay.
On this paragraph,
Last sentence.
the last sentence, what's
So,
different about
I'm
what's
just
in?
gonna.
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
think
point it out, because I,
You're up here, so this is the addition.
oh, I'm way down here. She said.
Yeah, no, she said second paragraph.
Oh, I'm way down here. Oh, I'm saying,
Yeah,
what the-
well, I could see where your eyes were, that's
Yeah.
what I was trying to interject.
So what are you saying now? What was the difference?
You had as, he doesn't see a violation of subdivision control law, but what was actually said was that Diaz doesn't see a planning board issue unless you cite a specific subdivision control law. That's what was said in the video. Then the.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let's just go over that. Okay.
Okay?
You know, I might have
So-
said that, I don't recall.
After the bold motion, the next, there's just, instead of has in the first sentence of that paragraph, it does have jurisdiction over public and private ways.
Where are you again?
The third paragraph.
Okay. First
Um,
line?
Yep. Instead of has, it's does have.
Wait a minute. Let me see what's here. Where are we, Mel?
So it used to say that has jurisdiction,
Still saying the
but
same
it does
thing, right?
have. It's just a grammatical.
Has or does have.
So you're saying that in the meeting minutes, I said it does have? Okay, so what's the difference?
I don't know, I must have felt there was some reason why, I don't know. I just, maybe it's the grammar in me, I don't know. Then the last sentence is, Alan, you stated, how can you do that? You would need to do a new subdivision.
We're on
And
the same, we're on the same.
And then,
Okay, we're in the same
and then the plans are
paragraph.
determined not to be the same. And then after this motion that didn't get to a vote, we go into the next paragraph, and I added, again, Attorney Day asked Amy L. Troop at a meeting prior to this one for these documents to be
Where are you?
sent.
Where are you?
The next paragraph, isn't it?
The next
Second
paragraph down.
sentence.
The, addition of, again, Attorney Day, this is an addition.
This is-
Again, Attorney Day, ask Amy L. Troop.
I am lost.
All right, so she's starting right here.
Oh,
Attorney Day.
okay.
At a meeting prior to this one for these documents to be sent to him through the secretary of the planning board.
Okay, what's the change?
That was an addition. You talking about the next one?
Okay, all right.
Amy L. Troop states, so about halfway down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines down, halfway over, it starts out with Amy L. Troop states to Attorney Day that the property on the agenda was the abutting lot. There is an email from the abutting lot's realtor. Amy obtained all the files from all the lots on Pine Street North to get a full understanding.
So what's the difference between this and what was in the
It was
minutes?
an addition, because it was not stating that I was asked for things, it was more implying that I was sending it off for no reason.
I'm just going to suggest to you that when you're looking at meetings, we don't imply and we don't, that's why the meeting minutes should be.
It's just being clear.
Should be fairly simple, just stating,
I disagree.
yeah, okay. What else do you have? Is there anything else, Amy?
Yep, I'm getting to it. The fourth page, top last statement in the paragraph, I put in there a quoted statement that states, Attorney Day stated that this board has jurisdiction over to make corrections to private ways on the official town map.
All right, I'm just gonna make a suggestion here. You made these corrections and sent them out today, okay? And they're not bold, and I know it's difficult for me, maybe the rest of the guys can get it, but we don't know that your corrections were verified by the tape. So I'm gonna make a suggestion that you put every change that you want bold. We'll hold the meeting minutes if and when she has the time, she can verify it.
No, wait a minute.
I already did
I don't,
verify it.
I don't, I mean.
It's not up to the secretary to verify it, it's up to the board to approve.
Yeah, so
Well,
like if she wanted an addition and you disliked it, it would be up to you to figure out if it was incorrect, right? Like, I'm not
I
saying.
don't know if it's incorrect or not, to be
That's
quite
what I'm
honest with
getting
you,
at.
yeah. right?
But that's what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
So she proposes a change, and if you dislike it or are uncomfortable with it, then don't vote on it, like, by all means. But I don't understand, it sounds like you're trying to stop any of us from adding a change.
No,
Like, if
I'm
we want a
not.
change-
It's just, I've been involved in
So who
politics,
is-
for a while, and I have never seen anything like this with minutes. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
And-
the planning
but
board, the planning board's
It's
been
whatever the
doing,
board's pleasure is.
the planning board's been doing it this way for a long time.
Yeah.
So the board reads through it, if they want to make a change, they make a change. If somebody has an objection, then, that goes to the vote.
Okay, what else do you have, Amy?
The second paragraph on the fourth page, second sentence, the neighbor's lot was on the agenda. There is an email from the neighboring lot's realtor to be on the agenda. She adds.
Just
as a
bear
re-
with me a little bit. Second paragraph, Larry
Second,
Costa assesses.
second sentence, the neighbor's lot was on the agenda. There is an email from the neighboring lot's realtor to be on the agenda. She adds, as a result, numerous abutters placed items on the agenda.
Okay.
Pretty much saying the same thing anyway, right?
Yep.
But it was reiterated, and it's important because, again, it's making it look like we were angling and we weren't.
We being,
The board.
So everything you have written here is all on the tape, right?
That's correct.
Anything else, Amy?
Determine lot lines, add or any of these things, which is below the motion, which is, it starts with Millie Estates,
So what did you add here?
or any of those things,
I'm sorry?
or any of those things. It's the second line, determine lot lines or any of those things. That was just because I noticed it, and I'm just grammatically that way.
Okay.
I would be I could be a teacher.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, on verbatim hearing minutes, so it states it at the bottom of this page, but if you turn to the next page, it actually is in bold. Alan Diaz started this off with, Amy, I believe you asked for this. And I wrote, Troop confirms she would like hearings to be verbatim, not the entire set of meeting minutes, and states it was a vote by the former board. So I added that it was a vote by the former board.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, at the end of that, it says, Amy stated there seems to be some segments missing. Diaz said they seem to be verbatim. Amy asked Diaz, did you watch the meeting on YouTube and go over the minutes? Alan said no.
Okay, so G-O, right? Okay.
Yeah, oh,
Anything
sorry,
else?
I didn't see that. And, yep. Now we're gonna get into, the next, hold on. Open meeting law complaint. The original states that Diaz has no problem with speaking with town council to respond to this complaint as it was brought against him. Troop states that it is not on the agenda. Diaz wanted to make the board aware of the request, which is why he read it into the meeting.
Yeah.
I added a lot to this because it was only stating what you had said, so I wrote, so this is now what the total open meeting law violation section says, which is a lot of changes, so I'm just gonna read it.
Hold on a second.
Diaz
Hold
has
on a
no
second.
problem with speaking
Hold
the
on.
town council to respond to his complaint as it was brought against him. Troop states that it was not on the agenda. Diaz wanted to make the board aware, so that's the same. Amy stated there were other letters that were sent to us that were not on the agenda and never mentioned. Amy stated that Alan began the meeting on 8/24/2020 with an apology for a possible open meeting law violation that was not an open meeting law violation as the public brought up the topic. Yet later, bring up a non-agenda item. Who wrote the letter? Who told you to read the letter out loud? Diaz, it was in the mail and that is none of your concern.
That's fine.
Okay?
Okay.
And then Diaz reads the letter, unknown sender, into record, and I added under that, and he then moves ahead with reading another anonymous letter out loud.
I'm going to tell you that you're paraphrasing and you're coming up with this unknown sender business.
No, I got it off the video, I watched it.
The video said that there was an unknown sender. I think you asked me who wrote the letter, and I said that was irrelevant, or something to that state. That's not an unknown sender.
Well, it's unknown to us or me.
Well, what I'm saying is, these are meeting
And
minutes. These are
you got it.
minutes that
Do you have a
should
problem? You said it.
reflect from the tape, not what we surmise or what we feel, or if we said something and it didn't sound right, so now we want to make, and you read it, and now you want to change it because now it sounds better. But as far as...
It's
this
what
unknown-
happened?
No, let me just finish. As far as this unknown sender business, that's totally incorrect.
No, it's actually, watch the video and you'll see it.
Okay.
I did.
And there's something in there that says there was an unknown sender.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That actually was written by the secretary.
Anything else?
Nope.
It's the board's pleasure.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for September 3rd, 2020.
The meeting, it's got to be with these,
These changes.
So this is the only one.
This is it, we have it right here, and I have two that we can sign.
was
Usually
this in the mail
we-
folder? No, you just passed this out.
Right,
Yeah.
because I made all of the document changes and I printed it so that
I
we
know.
could go over it.
Okay.
Because I think we're on borderline of
Okay.
having to.
Second.
I'll take the second for discussion. These minutes were not prepared by the secretary.
That doesn't have to be.
Okay, fine, then I'll move to the vote, because when I think when members make certain adjustments that don't go through, I'm a firm believer in the chain of command.
But
So-
we're all here.
Okay,
None of
that's
these
fine.
changes were made in slight, none of them were made behind anyone's back.
We have a motion and a second, we'll go for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
So we have Gordon, Amy, and Mark, aye. I'm going to vote no. Rick, what's your pleasure?
I'll vote yes, but
Okay, fine.
dragging this on.
I'll send these out
Okay.
for signature. I have two here.
You
for
go,
signature.
please, go through the office, let her send them out with the signature pages.
It's
I'm
already
a firm
here.
believer that everything should go through the office, whether you...
They're printed right here for us to sign.
I don't see how any of us wouldn't have the authority or to write up meeting minutes, present them.
Correct.
Like, why don't, we all have
You're
that right?
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct, but I'm a
So
firm
why do they
believer,
have to be printed by the secretary?
only to make sure that they're accurate.
We just checked to make sure they're accurate.
That's fine.
I don't
That's-
understand that.
That's my opinion, is I try to follow the chain of command. If everything goes to the secretary...
We are the chain of command. The secretary is not the chain of command.
Yes,
All right.
the two copies and the signature pages.
All right, any other business in front of the planning
I make a
board?
motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second at 8:42 to adjourn.